Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Steve Radence, and we're at the author reading experience of The Happiness Effect. The book's not available for sale yet, so I'm going to read it to you as we're trying to find an agent and a publishing company to get this out into the world because people need to hear what I have to say. Whether they want to or not, I feel y'all need to hear what I have to say, and this is my opportunity to do that. And not only am I reading the book, but I'm giving you a lot of my thoughts and insights into why I wrote what I did to try to make it a little easier for you to understand and try to have some fun too. You know, a lot of us are locked inside. There's COVID-19 going on now, so a lot of things are changing in our world. And we're all looking for a little more happiness, a little more joy, a little better health. And I hope to provide a lot of that for you, at least give you some simple tricks and tactics that you can use to improve the health and happiness in your life, thus creating the happiness effect. Yeah, it's true. There is a way to make yourself happy, and part of that is becoming more healthy in a natural way. So anyways, chapter 7 is the American healthcare scam, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information of about 3 companies that I believe pretty much rule and control our food systems and our medicine systems. The same companies, they're chemical companies, create the fertilizers, pesticides, they create a lot of the GMO seeds, and those same chemicals create our medicine as well. So basically, the way I see it, 3 companies pretty much control all of that. And I'm not sure that's a great thing. I kind of like having a variety of sources to get my products from. So to me, getting everything from 3 places, especially when those 3 entities are run based on a profit loss statement, you know, and they're there to make money. And these companies make a lot of money. They really do. And they're very good at creating profits. Unfortunately, they're also very good at kind of screwing up our health in an unnatural way. And I want to try to raise your level of awareness so you can see exactly what you're up against. If you're just joining us, go back and watch a couple other chapters just to get a heads up of where I'm coming from, where I've been, where I'm going, the things I've experienced in my life. Because everything that we talk about, these are just my opinions. These are my life experiences that I've put together in a book form. I'm not a doctor. I am not a medical professional in any sense of the word. I've done a lot of reading and I've created my own opinions, and I'm trying to share that with people. And if you agree with me, leave some comments. Let me know what you think. And if you think I'm crazy, tell me I'm crazy, because I've been called a lot worse things than that. So, but I would like to hear it because maybe my opinions are wrong. Maybe you have a better solution, and that's pretty cool too because I can learn from you. But this is where I believe the cards are stacked against us. The deck is stacked against us, and in order to improve your life, you need to know what you're up against. You know, ancient Chinese general Sun Tzu wrote the book The Art of War, and one of the statements in that book, it's a great book, you should read it actually. One of the statements in that book basically says you need to keep your friends close but your enemies closer. And that's very true. You need to understand what you're up against, otherwise you can't beat it. You know, if you and I are enemies and I don't know everything there is to know about you, you're going to be able to sneak attack me, and I can't have that. So I need to know as much about my enemies as I can. And unfortunately, I see the enemy right now is our mainstream medical and health systems. And hopefully I can raise some awareness, and maybe things will start changing in a little ways. I see some changes. You know, natural health is becoming more and more prevalent in the society, and that's a good thing, man. That's a really cool thing because nature balances our body in a natural way, whereas man-made foods and drugs alter our bodies in an unnatural way. So bear with chapter 7. It's a little harsh. I may get a little angry here. This is like the 3rd time I've done this video. Last time I actually brought up some brand name products, and I don't think I can do that legally, so I had to scrap a whole hour video. This may run a little bit longer. I'm inside today, as you can see. I like being outside. I prefer being outside. I prefer sharing that environment with you guys because we all need to be outside as much as possible. We really do. Being indoors is great when it's raining and cold and too hot. Thank God for air conditioning if you live in South Florida. But really, getting outside is one of the best things you can do for your body. So I prefer to be outside. Today it's gray, kind of cloudy. There's a chance of rain. And normally, my wife is working in this area right over there. You can't see it, but right over there is her office. And she's out of the house today. So I have the opportunity to do a video from home. So I thought, hey, what the heck? We'll try it. We'll see how it goes. My dog's with me, Bandit. He's sitting over there too. He tends to bark sometimes, so we may get interrupted. We'll see how it goes. This is a first for me, so let's see what happens. Thank you for being here. Let's get right into it. And remember, keep an open mind. These are my opinions. I am not a doctor or a healthcare provider, and I'm not giving you medical advice. If you're going to change anything in your diet or your health, your medicine, and you're currently seeing a physician, a doctor, take what I give and talk to them about it before you make any decisions. Do your own research. Take the information that I give you and then go research it. Make sure I'm saying the straight stuff. The more you know, the more confident you'll be, and the better you'll be able to take care of your body, your mind, your health. So anyway, Chapter 7, the American Healthcare Scam. It is very expensive to give bad medical care to poor people in a rich country. This is a quote by Paul Farmer, and it sounds a little confusing, but we spend a lot of money on our health care in America, and I'm pretty sure in other countries as well. And we're not necessarily giving the best advice to the people, so we're going to talk about that right now. Next, we are going to delve into my healthcare conspiracy theory. This is Steve's conspiracy theory. I've done a lot of reading. I've looked into this a lot. I grow a lot of plants. I know a lot about how plants grow and how corporations have improved how can I say this? They've improved the quantity of food we can grow, but they haven't really done it in a natural way, and it's creating unnatural, unwanted side effects in our body. I'm going to say that about 100 times, unnatural, unwanted, so bear with me. You eat lots of commercially processed and packaged foods. These, on a good day, only have a high salt and high refined sugar content with very few active nutrients and some man-made preservatives from natural sources, of course. On a bad day, you may find low doses of the Bayer Monsanto Roundup weed killer chemical, glyphosate, some Syngenta-made weed killer atrazine, or even some DuPont Dow chemical pesticide chloropyrifos in your crackers. This is actually a fact. There have been studies on boxes of processed food, primarily crackers is where the story originated, where they found low doses, low traces of the weed-killing chemical glyphosate. So as much as these companies claim that their weed killer disappears after a short amount of time, it's no longer a threat to the environment, it is still showing up in our food sources that have been processed and made into other things that you're now eating. If this chemical disappears, well, it didn't disappear during the harvesting of the product. It didn't disappear during the processing of the product. The chemical didn't disappear when they cooked and baked and sterilized the product. It didn't disappear when they boxed the product. That chemical was still in the box of crackers many months after the product was produced. So you can't tell me that this chemical just disappears. And man, I'm a gardener. I love nature. And it hurts me to kill a plant. When I trim plants, I will try to find places to stick a lot of those cuttings to try to regrow something else because I just don't like killing plants. I just don't. And so when I watch our landscapers spray weed killer, and that's the other, I named the chemical brand names, which are no longer patented, or at least I know chlorophyllos, the patent has run out on the Roundup weed killer. So now every company can start using a variation of that same chemical. So all weed killer has one of these three chemicals in it, and it's not disappearing. I watch our landscapers when they spray it. They'll spray it around the trees because, in my opinion, they're too lazy to weed eat it the way they want to, the way it should be done. And so they spray Roundup around all the trees and bushes and stuff in the neighborhood. And yeah, it decimates the grass around there. It decimates the broadleaf grasses, and that's what it's designed to do. But I can watch my oak trees, and you will see a noticeable difference in the brown dead leaves hanging on the tree. And they're not just falling off. You can see a noticeable difference on an oak tree. This is a big ass oak tree that's sucking up very little amounts of the Roundup weed killer, and I can see a noticeable difference after they use the weed killer. So it's not as safe as they claim. There was a lawsuit brought against Monsanto in California a couple years back, and Monsanto actually lost the suit and is now paying, they're probably appealing it, so they're probably not paying this out yet, but either hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in settlement claims where it was determined in a California court that the Roundup weed killer chemical glyphosate contributes to cancer, contributes to creating cancer. And knowing that this chemical still shows up in crackers months after the product was harvested and produced into whatever it's been produced into, just knowing that that chemical sticks around for that long, it's not true what we've been told, that it just disappears and it doesn't affect the environment. It affects the environment, and I believe it affects the environment long term. And I also believe it's creating unnatural, unwanted side effects in our bodies. And yes, most processed foods contain high amounts of salt, high amounts of sugar, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Sugar has zero nutrient benefits, zero. I mean, there's nothing in sugar other than it tastes good. It makes your cells, it gives you energy. It does give you energy. Your cells like to eat it, which is why it contributes to cancer growth, is because cancer cells like to eat it too. And they search out food that it can consume. And if you got a lot of sugar in your body, those cancer cells are going to nap onto that, and they're just going to expand and grow. And so that's not a good thing. Sugar is not a great thing. If you can get rid of a lot of it in your diet, that'd be a beautiful thing. These high sugar, high salt, chemically synthesized diets put your body in a nosedive to poor health. Most dry cereal boxes shout at you from the label, 8 essential vitamins and minerals. They really do, you know, but it's not true. I mean, it may be true, those minerals might be in there, but they didn't come from natural sources. Synthetic nutrients are not as complete as the natural nutrients you get from an orange, broccoli, or ginger. And that's, you know, I've said this before, but when you eat an orange, you're getting vitamin C, you're getting calcium, you're getting 100 micronutrients and 100 more phytonutrients. And all these nutrients go into your body, and then they go to different areas of your body. It's helping your entire body. When I take a pill for my blood pressure, it's affecting my heart, I would imagine. I don't know. I don't take a pill for my blood pressure. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do. But let's say it helps the heart. But that's the only thing it's doing. So it speeds up your heart, which then throws other areas of your body out of balance. To me, it's just common sense, man. When I eat nature, when I eat herbs and vegetables and fruit, all the variety of nutrients, and they're all in differing amounts because your body doesn't need 1,000% of vitamin K. It needs 100% of vitamin K because that's what the FDA says your body needs on a regular basis. But that orange has varying amounts of all these different benefits that affect your body in a natural way to help create natural balanced homeostasis in your body. Whereas synthetic medicine or processed food is altering that system, throwing it out of balance, and then you have to bring it back into balance in an unnatural way. Since synthetic nutrients also alter your body unnaturally, you need to get some man-made industrial synthetic chemicals, also known as pharmaceuticals or prescription drugs, to counteract the effects of the man-made nutrients in your food and medicine. Paying for prescriptions can be very expensive, especially since many drugs need to be taken every day for the rest of your life. And that's crazy. Once you start taking a pill, there's a good chance you'll never stop taking it. And it just becomes a normal part of your life. You know, how many movies do you see where they joke about the senior population in America, and they've always got a weekly pill box here, and every day they got to take their 10 pills. That's nuts, man. I'm just going to say that's kind of nuts. You can eat a bunch of fruit and vegetables and get the same effect naturally. Think about that. Anyway, but Americans have figured this out. We have health insurance. For only 20% of your salary, You get one reduced price doctor's visit a year, even if you're not sick. I think every insurance plan calls it preventative health. You get a free doctor's visit. You get to go to the doctor, even if you're not sick. And you get reduced prices on synthetic drugs. Yay, awesome. You get cheap drugs that will eventually create your body's death dance. It's true. The drugs are cheaper than the natural fruits and vegetables that you can get, that we can grow. It's kind of strange, but pharmaceutical drugs are less expensive than the fruit, vegetables, and herbs that will keep you healthy and balanced naturally. That is a very sad fact. Another exciting part of our healthcare system is that drugs are actually subsidized by the American government using your tax dollars. However, the healthy, fresh, natural fruit and vegetables get less than 15% of all agriculture subsidies. The other 85% of government subsidies, your tax dollars, go mostly to corn, soybeans, cotton, wheat, sorghum, and rice. So 6 things. Let me step back a little bit and talk about the free doctor's visit. When you go to your doctor, generally, you go in there pretty healthy, and while you're sitting there, he may talk to you about, well, you could try this, you could try that, your blood pressure is a little high, well, you got a skin spot. And we're going to talk about this again too, but I'm going to touch on it now. Getting you into the doctor's office is the same as getting you into a new car showroom. If I can get you into my showroom, I can sell you a car. If I can get you into my doctor's office, I can sell you some additional drugs. Okay, it's a business. You have to understand that our world revolves around business and money. And a doctor is in business to make money. And you have to understand that before you go in there. Chances are they're going to try to sell you on a prescription drug that they feel you need to take. They're not going to give you something that they know is going to kill you. That's not happening. They're going to give you a pill that they've been told can help. So a doctor believes that they're trying to help you. That's not always the case, though. It's really not. And then we talk about agricultural subsidies. We spend about $13 billion of our tax dollars, tax money, our money, yours and mine, yours, mine, our money goes to the government. They spend about $13 billion on agriculture, which is supposed to provide food for the masses. I am part of the masses. So they're providing me with corn and soybeans because they can be made into a million other products. They're easy to produce. Now with GMO seeds and fertilizers and pesticides and herbicides, they're easier to grow. There's a lot of profit in it. And there's even really not a lot of profit in growing corn and soybeans anymore. The only reason they're profitable is because the government subsidizes them. It really is. And they subsidize them because they can use it for so many other things. It's good for that. But it's not providing all the natural nutrients my body needs. The other 85% of agriculture subsidies go to mostly GMO corn, soybeans, cotton, wheat, sorghum, which are then converted into processed foods with synthetic nutrients like high fructose corn syrup, which you can find in pretty much every food. High fructose corn syrup is in everything. And based on my research, eating corn is not necessarily the best thing for us. I'll use an example of the way we raise cattle today, beef cattle, cows. A cow within the first 6 months of its life ends up in a feedlot where it's shoved together with a million other cows, hundreds of thousands at least, and they're fed predominantly corn. And a cow's stomach, they have 4 stomachs. A cow's got a lot going on, man. They have one of the best digestive systems in nature. But they are designed for eating grasses, okay? So corn is not a grass. And technically corn is kind of a grass, but corn kernels are not what a cow would choose to eat in its natural environment. So it throws its body off because it's not being fed what it's naturally evolved to eat. So we're creating unnatural, unwanted side effects in our cattle by the way we raise them today. So because of that, we then have to feed those cows a bunch of hormones, a bunch of antibiotics, several other chemicals to try to keep that cow alive and eating corn until it gets fat enough that we can sell it. In 100 years ago, it took about 4 or 5 years to grow a cow to market weight. So it was big enough where the farmer could make money on it. Today, that same cow is brought to market weight in about a year, year and a half at most. And that's crazy when you think about it. We're feeding it so much corn that it just explodes its growth, body weight, and then you have more meat, but it's not healthy, man. It's not natural. And because that cow, now that meat is unnatural, full of chemicals, and raised in an unnatural environment, those traits are then passed down to us because we eat that meat. Those chemicals, as we pointed out, glyphosate shows up in crackers. Well, cows eat the corn that was grown using glyphosate to keep the weeds down. Those chemicals are in our meat and we're eating them. So I will always recommend eating grass-fed, no hormone, no antibiotic meat. It's about $1 or $2 more a pound, which is nuts, because maybe if we subsidized those guys, we would get good organic food at a reasonable price, the same as we do with processed foods. It's crazy. According to Johns Hopkins University, 250,000 people die from medical errors every year. That's medical errors, okay? According to the Journal of American Medical Association, 150,000 people die from adverse effects of pharmaceutical drugs. That means a doctor gives you a pill, that pill reacts in a bad way with your body, and you end up dying from it, okay? The doctor was trying to help you. He or she was doing what they thought was best for you, and yet that pill killed you because it's unnatural. Okay, doctors are trying to do the best that they can. They don't spend a lot of time reading and learning about natural food options when it comes to your health. They read and learn what the mainstream society has told them to learn, which is how your body works, but not how it works with natural products versus synthetic products. So anyway, that's a minimum of 400,000 people that die every year from mainstream medicine. That's crazy. 500,000 people dying every year from our current healthcare system. Maybe it's not the right system. Maybe it needs to be changed. I'm sure you have heard of the opioid epidemic that our American government is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on trying to fix. Your tax dollars hard at work. Okay, opioids kill on average 45,000 people a year in America, and this epidemic is in the headlines every day. Yet no one is talking about the 400,000 people, 8 times as many as opiate victims, who are killed by our healthcare system. Not one single headline swears vengeance on our health system. No one seems to care. And well, you know what? I care, and you should care too. You really should. Maybe we're going about it the wrong way. Maybe if we ate and medicated with nature, we wouldn't need to have deaths from pharmaceutical drugs. According to the National Center for Disease Control and Prevention, here are the leading causes of death in America. Most of these illnesses can be reduced or even eliminated by eating naturally grown foods, medicating with naturally grown plants, and having a positive lifestyle. When you add up the top causes of death in America, nearly 3 million deaths could be reversed if we all ate and medicated naturally. Okay, let me get that out. Anyway, yes, 3 million people, up to 3 million people die from an unhealthy diet, or what I consider an unhealthy diet. And for example, heart disease, 635,000 people die every year from heart disease. And a lot of that comes back to lifestyle choices. If we start when we're a baby eating natural foods, okay, and I'll say natural breast milk has got to be the best way to go too, because it's natural. It's the way we have evolved to survive, Cancer, 598,000 people die every year from cancer. Okay, another one, lifestyle changes. A lot of cancers may be created by what we're putting into our environment, what we're eating that's been grown in an unnatural, unhealthy way. Let's see. Chronic lower respiratory disease, 154,000 people. possibly could be reduced if you ate a healthy diet. If you lived a more healthy life, you may have less respiratory issues. Alzheimer's disease. 116,000 people every year die from Alzheimer's disease. I'm not really sure how you die from Alzheimer's disease, but again, this is a number from the CDC, so we're going to go with it. They're finding that there are many natural foods, natural plants that reduce the risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. So why don't we start prescribing you to eat some kale starting when you're 5 years old, and maybe you won't have that problem when you're 60. No, you just might. Diabetes, 80,000 people die from diabetes. A good diet, a natural diet, may not create diabetes in people. It just may not. And I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you that for a fact. And then I've added on here, cannabis has created 0 deaths, okay? It actually saves lives. So legalize cannabis. That's my public service announcement. Anyway, as of 2014, it is illegal to not have health insurance in America. This is by design. Okay, and this is where I'm getting at. Our food and medical systems are run by companies that are in business to make money. Okay, and this includes insurance, because insurance is right there with these guys, because they're promoting that one doctor's visit that gets you into the doctor's sales office where he can then sell you some drugs. Okay, and insurance companies are making drugs cheaper for us. And as I've already said, I don't believe synthetic drugs are generally good for us. And we are sold on the idea that we need to take a pill to fix all of our ailments. And it's really just not the case. It's just really not. Anyway, you get to pay 20% of your salary for medical care that is possibly killing you. Not one single government or medical professional is trying to stop it, because it's a business and it's a very profitable business. So let's just keep the steamroller going, because this system works. I'm making money. You're taking pills that makes you feel better, but it's killing you. And actually, I'm going to bring this up too, because some of you might be thinking, you know what? Our medical care has gotten better over the last 200 years, or thousands of years, whatever. It's the best medical system we've ever had. It's saving lives. Our life expectancy went from 60 years or 56 years in 1900 to, like 76 years of age today is our average life expectancy. So it's increased. And a lot of people try to say it's our healthcare that did that. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I'm going to politely disagree with you on that. It may have a small effect, but we also have better sanitation. We live in a healthier environment. We're not dumping chemicals into the rivers as much anymore. We're not spewing smoke into the air as much anymore. We're living a pretty docile life with our big screen TVs and our loungers that we're sitting in at home most of the time. So a lot of that health expectancy is because of external sources, not because of what we're putting in our bodies, and not because we have more doctors in the world. Your doctor gets bonuses from the drug companies for prescribing their drugs to you. Your doctor's incentive is not your health necessarily, but to make a higher income by offering you drugs and other services. Okay? It's a business. Once you have to take a pill for life, there will be more pills to come, and your doctor will continue getting paid, once by you and once by the pharmaceutical company. It's a great business model. They also get paid by the insurance company. So why would a doctor change what he's doing? He's making money doing it the way it's set up now, and doctors, for the most part, make a decent living. Let me ask you a question. What happens when you go to your annual doctor's visit? My guess is your doctor finds a slight rise or decrease in blood pressure, maybe a skin spot or two that a specialist will have to look at. After examining you, and I could add cholesterol in there, but that used to be a big thing, but we're kind of finding out now that the whole cholesterol scare was a big scam, and there's good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, so you need a little bit of both in your body, and you get all of that from natural sources. You don't need to take a pill. After examining you, the doctor shows you some numbers that were found in your blood and urine. These numbers are then used to explain why the doctor needs to prescribe you some man-made synthetic chemicals that you will need to take. Okay, it's a business. I mean, I hope you can understand that, because that's really all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to let you know that it is a business. Now think about this. When you walked into the doctor's office, you were feeling 100% healthy and happy. However, after listening to the diagnosis, you begin to feel that maybe the doctor is right. You start to feel a little less good. You say to yourself, They are a healthcare professional. They must be right. I must be sick. The doctor writes a prescription or two that you may not really need. You then drive to the pharmacy, wait another 30 minutes for your prescriptions to be prepared, spending half of your day for medical care that could be avoided by eating a more natural diet. As I've said, I have not been to the doctor since 2016. I have not taken a prescribed pharmaceutical since 2016. I'm very healthy. I feel great. If I die tomorrow, it was meant to be. It's okay. I don't need a doctor to tell me when I'm feeling good. If I was sick and thought there was something wrong, certainly I would go to the doctor or the hospital. I wouldn't tell anyone not to do that, because yes, doctors can do good and hospitals do good when there's a serious issue. But if you're just going for a checkup to see if you're okay, ask your body, how do I feel? And if your body feels good, chances are you're feeling good. Once you're on the cycle of synthetic foods and drugs, you're stuck. Why do retailers offer you a great sale price on a shirt? To get you in the door to sell you the slacks and belt as well. It's a business. As mentioned earlier, the doctor is not totally at fault. They are being manipulated by the chemical insurance and insurance industries. The largest chemical companies in the world not only provide chemicals to the pharmaceutical industry, they are also the largest owners of seeds, fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, and plant genetics, your food. 60 to 80%, depending on the source. The internet's kind of crazy. Everybody's got a different source, but I found the highest was about 80%, the lowest was about 60%. So of the entire agriculture industry is owned by 3 of the largest chemical companies in the world. The same 3 chemical companies that make weed killer that has found its way into our processed foods. Bayer Monsanto, ChemChina Syngenta, and DuPont Dow. Some people may say Cargill or Cargill, however you say it, is the biggest agriculture company. They are, but even they get their supplies from these 3 companies. So I can trace our food systems and our medical systems back to these 3 companies. The source of the majority of your food is controlled by only 3 companies, and they also control your medicine. This is a great business model. Remember that. It's business, folks. We're in business to make money, and we can only make money is if we sell you more. And the world has gotten great at marketing, and doctors and pharmaceutical companies are no different. This way, these big chemical, agriculture, and pharmaceutical companies can ensure that you eat what they create. Stay tuned. This causes your cells to fail, which then sends you to a doctor who then prescribes the chemical company's pharmaceutical drugs, which are inexpensive because the government subsidizes them with your tax dollars. It's a win-win for all except for you. I mean, it's a win-win for the businesses. It is. You eat their processed food, which contains chemicals that are unnatural to your body, which will create unwanted, unnatural side effects in your body. So then you go to a doctor who then prescribes you those same companies' chemicals to offset what the processed food is. So you eat their food, you have to take their medicine. It's connected. You can't really get away from it. But hold on, there's more to this genius plan. I know you're thinking it couldn't possibly get better, but it does. Just like NASA, who always has a backup plan, pharmaceutical, chemical, agriculture companies, and the insurance industries, as well as many other conglomerates, the big guys, they all do this. They all need a guarantee that their business model will never be heavily regulated. They also need to ensure that the government subsidies, your tax dollars, keep rolling in to finance their business. But how can these corporations ensure profits and stay unregulated, you ask? By getting their past and current executive directors and other employees elected to high-ranking government positions. And below is a story of Margaret Miller, a Monsanto employee who was hired by the government to review work she did for Monsanto. This is just one example. There are many more online. While working as a Monsanto researcher, Margaret Miller contributed to a scientific report for the FDA on Monsanto's genetically engineered bovine growth hormone. Yeah, say that 3 or 4 times. That's a mouthful there. It really is. Shortly before the report was submitted, Miller left Monsanto to work at the FDA, where her first job was to review the same report. So Miss Miller went from producing the research for the bovine growth hormone. She would work for Monsanto, who created this. She then left Monsanto, immediately went to work for the FDA. And her first job at the FDA was to review the report she just did for Monsanto. This was a big deal, and I can't remember if it was in the 70s or 80s, but it was a big deal. Milk companies were going to be required to label their milk saying that that this growth hormone was in the milk. And because of what Miss Miller did, those caution labels didn't have to go on milk products or beef products. So it's kind of a big deal. Would have been very expensive for the businesses. Assisting Miller was another former Monsanto researcher, Susan Session. Needless to say, the FDA accepted Monsanto's findings, which became the basis for its approval of Monsanto's genetically engineered bovine growth hormone and its decision not to require labels on milk produced through the use of artificial hormones. So Monsanto did the end around, the sneak attack. They got somebody into the government who knew exactly what this product was, and they were in a position to approve that same product. Whether it was good for us or not, it didn't really matter. Monsanto spent a lot of money on this. They were going to be able to grow fatter cattle, so everybody was going to make more money at the expense of the human population and creating unnatural, unwanted side effects in our body. Our current healthcare industry treats illness like this. The doctor determines that you have high blood pressure, then prescribes a drug to lower it. However, that drug sends your cholesterol through the roof, so now you need an anti-cholesterol pill, which causes your left foot to swell. Now you need an anti-inflammatory pill, which causes your right eye to twitch. So another drug is needed, and so on and so on. It's a treadmill, it's a circle, you can't ever get off it. Once you embrace processed foods and you've created the unwanted side effects in your body, you almost have to then go to your doctor and get synthetic medication, which is going to create more unnatural side effects in your body. And then you're going to eat the processed food, which is going to send you back to the doctor, which is going to send you to the pharmacy. And then you're going to eat the processed food. It's a big circle. You're screwing up your body by not embracing nature. The main problem is that synthetic chemicals only make a very specific change or target a very specific part of the whole body. For example, a drug for your liver may only change one enzyme. This is great for receiving an FDA approval because it's simple. You don't have to look at a lot of things. This enzyme, this drug targets this enzyme. Don't worry about all the other things. Just look in your liver for this. And so it's easy for the FDA to approve it. It takes a lot less time. However, there is little thought to how changing one enzyme can alter the rest of your body and the way it functions. This one little drug will begin a chain reaction in your body, and before you know it, you have to take several different pharmaceutical drugs just to stay alive. Wouldn't it make more sense to take a more holistic approach and eat a variety of natural foods, eliminating the dependency on man-made drugs and chemicals? When you eat an orange or kale, you get a variety of nutrients in varying amounts that work naturally with your entire body. If we are a part of nature, and we are, I've said this before, we come from nature, we do, it just makes sense that nature will help our bodies in a more positive way without creating unnatural, unwanted side effects. Commercially packaged and processed foods have the same effect as pharmaceutical drugs. The synthetic chemicals used to create the food products alter your body's natural functions and chemicals. GMO plants are grown using the same company's corresponding pesticide, herbicide, and fertilizer in order to grow. It's a great business model. You then need to medicate with synthetic drugs to fight the changes the synthetic foods create. It's a terrible cycle to be on. And it just really is, and I hope you take that away from this chapter, that I'm not saying processed foods are the devil and synthetic drugs are killing us now. They do. I said that 450,000 of us die a year from our medical system. So I did kind of say that. But anytime you eat a processed food, you have the risk of having chemical fertilizer, herbicides, and pesticides in that food. It's been proven. It's shown up in crackers and other boxed products. So you're then ingesting those chemicals. And if glyphosate has been found to cause cancer, and it's extreme high doses. So I don't want to say, yeah, you put a little glyphosate on your tongue, you're going to die, or you get it on your hands, you're going to immediately die. But you will immediately start making, creating unnatural side effects in your body. The minute those chemicals hit your body has to adapt to figure out what to do with them. And if they can't get rid of those toxins, then they build up in our body. They don't leave a box of crackers after 4 or 5 months. It's not going to leave your body necessarily either. So if those toxins are building up over a course of years, they could be creating the cancer. You know, cancer rates has risen dramatically since the 1940s. I believe glyphosate came out in the 40s or 50s. I'm not sure of that 100%. I should know that. But so it's weird that cancer rates have gone up with the increased rates of chemicals in our food sources. Now, this is a catch-all saying to end up the chapter. I am not saying that big pharmaceutical, big agriculture, big chemical, and big insurance companies are bad because of their business model. And I want you to remember that. I'm not saying these companies are bad for what they do. I'm saying they're in business to make money, and they're very good at making money at the expense of us. And yes, the FDA does a lot of really great things, and they keep us fairly safe, but they don't focus on what is best for us, which is a natural diet, because there's no money. Unfortunately, there's just no money in growing natural foods, growing and selling natural foods. It's not as easy as taking corn or soybeans and creating 100 different products that then I can sell to 1 million people. There's got to be a better way to do it. There just has to be a better way. So anyway, all of these industries have also saved many lives. GMO crops have made it possible to feed the world cheaply. Chemicals have made our lives easier, and pharmaceutical companies spend billions of dollars developing drugs that are safe enough for most people. Insurance helps make basic medical care and catastrophic care more affordable for the average person. These industries also give tens of millions of dollars to social and charitable causes. Thank you. But don't forget that these businesses, and they are businesses, are in business to make money the best, most efficient way possible. And they are very good at that. And that is the end of chapter 7. Actually, yeah, that's the end of chapter 7. So basically what I want you to take away from that is that look into healthy alternatives, natural alternatives to the food and medicine that you currently take. There is a better way to live, and I guarantee you that you cannot necessarily maintain the happiness effect if your body's whacked with disease. You're just not a happy person when you feel like crap. You're just not. And so the first step is what I said. The first step in creating the happiness effect is to get your body right, to get your mind right, to get your life right. I mean, it's really that simple. And I wanted you to understand that you're up against big business, big profitable companies that are very good at making money. And they're good at making products that on the surface appear to be good for humanity. But the minute you're putting synthesized foods and medicines, things that are made in a laboratory, the minute you start putting those in your body, they're creating unnatural, unwanted side effects. And you will then immediately have to take some synthetic pills to try to balance that out. And you're just constantly throwing your body out of whack. You're never going to be balanced. You may feel good. You may feel like you're healthy. And if that's what works for you, then go for it. But I guarantee you there's a better way. And the first step is to eliminate as much processed foods from your diet that you can. And once you get those foods out of your diet, you may start noticing that, hey, I don't need to take all this medicine either. So get your body right, get your mind right, get your life right, and just know that you're up against some really, really big businesses that are very good at marketing. And they, like I said, 3 companies pretty much control our food and medicine. And that's kind of a scary thought, where God, the universe, nature actually provides everything we need. And if we took a more holistic approach to life, we could reduce our dependence on these 3 companies. And that's what I hope you take away from this chapter. So anyway, thank you again. It's not necessarily the happiness effect, but it gives you the ammunition you're going to need to create the happiness effect going forward. So thank you very much. Next week, it's going to be a whole new section. It's called Health Solutions. So we're actually going to get into ways to make you a healthier, happier person. And we're going to start off with talking about processed foods again. So come back next time. It's going to be good. You're going to start getting some really cool information that I hope can change your life, because it definitely changed mine. And I was a non-believer for 50 years. So stick around. I hope some of the information helps you. Get involved too. We have a Facebook group, the Happiness Effect Facebook group. There should be a link on the YouTube channel someplace. Click that link, join the group, get involved, talk about your natural cures success stories. Talk about the products you think are great that are processed, and maybe we'll have a discussion about that. So anyway, get involved, join the group, get involved, share your comments, leave some comments here. Let me know if you're paying attention, if you like this, should I keep going? Because I could stop today if I wanted to. No, I couldn't really. I started, I got to finish this out. So thank you for being here. Check out my website, balancedbynature.net. And I'm going to throw an advertisement in there just because I feel like it. Don't forget, I have these 3 wonderful booklets that you can pick up on Amazon. Medical Marijuana, The Simple Truth, Stephen T's The Ultimate Smoothie, and 5 herbal tea blends to balance your life. They're all available on Amazon. You can get the link. I think it's on Facebook, but you can get it at my website, balancedbynature.net. There's my blog is there. There's some cool stories. Check it out and keep coming back. I appreciate you. Keep the happiness effect alive in your life. What 3 things are you grateful for today? Because that's huge. Gratitude is huge. Healthy body, healthy mind, healthy life. So anyway, thank you very much. Come back next week and the weeks after, and let me know how you feel. Stay balanced by nature. Have a great day.